Well, hi you guys, and welcome to another video. And today's video, Scooter is joining me here in the library, where we're sitting just having a little one-to-one heart-to-heart chat after the festive period, and we're going to show you some of the lovely gifts that I received. And Scooter wants to show off his beautiful new name tag, which says, "I love Dad." Isn't that so cute? Scooter loves it, because of course he does love his dad. So, later you're going to be joining me in the kitchen where I'm going to be making a lovely winter delicious wholesome soup, a vegetable soup, sort of Greek-inspired vegetable soup. My Yaya Bobby used to make this soup and I always liked it, so I got the recipe from her and I will share that with you a little later. And then we're going to be making, to go with the soup, some delicious wholesome cheese scones, because nothing like a bowl of winter vegetable soup with a nice cheese scone. And as my guests are here and they're still with me, I'll treat them to that. First of all, I bought this gift for Chris to delight you all for when we do afternoon tea in another video a little bit later on. It is a beautiful wooden hand-painted afternoon tea serving tier stand, and it's all hand-painted and it's absolutely exquisite. And I bought this from Brown Thomas in Dublin. I don't know why I'm advertising all these places for these guys, because I don't receive anything from them. But anyway, I have to tell you where I bought them from. This I bought and I just fell in love with it, and I thought, I'll buy it and I'll make out it's a present for Chris. Although it's kind of a present for me, but sure. What is for Chris is for me. What's his is mine, and what's mine is mine. Okay, let's leave that one where it is and park it. Then I received this stunning crown, which I have to say, I absolutely adore, and this definitely is going to adorn my Christmas cake next year. It will be the belle of the ball. Scooter?
Wow.
Show everybody your new crown. Okay, so that's our crown.
And by the way, the tray is Venetian inspired.
Yes, the tray is Venetian inspired. Almost Florentine, actually. Chris hasn't quite put it together properly, and so it's a bit wobbly, so I'll tighten it later. Okay. Ta-da! You guys were all hoping and praying and waiting like I was, but Nikolai surprised you because Nikolai found them, and Nikolai purchased them for himself. S for Scooter, N for Nikolai. And you know what Chris said when he saw them? Chris said, actually, they're nicer than my one, because my ones have got the beautiful Irish shamrock motif all the way around the outside. So, an N and S will be higher than C on the tree when placed, as punishment to Chris. Okay, then this I absolutely adore. It's beautiful. It's a evil eye Christmas decoration with some lovely red velvet ribbon. I'm not quite sure where Chris purchased that from, but anyway. Sally Bourne Interiors. Okay, and then this stunning velvet heart. It's beautiful. And these I love, because if you remember the fireplace, the mantelpiece that I did upstairs in the pink room, I did I keep forgetting what it's inspired with. Chris, tell me. Alice in Wonderland. With all the cards and the Christmas baubles, with the playing cards motifs of the hearts, the spade, the diamond, with a beautiful black velvet ribbon. And then I also got this colour, which has got the red velvet ribbon. So they will adorn the mantelpiece to be
clever, Sally Bourne, what she does with the ribbon?
Yes, beautiful.
She matches each bauble.
She matches each bauble with a different colour ribbon. This beautiful hot air balloon in this cobalt, fabulous blue velvet was one I purchased again from Brown Thomas in Dublin on my recent trip there. And these two baubles, again, stunning colours. And I hear you say, why so many baubles and Christmas decorations? You know, I pack so many, and I'm so careful when I pack everything away. And I actually have a 8 foot by 6 foot shed out the back, which is completely dedicated purely to Christmas decorations. People who come to visit my gardens in the summer look into the shed and they have a peek and they say, what's all those boxes in there? I say, they're all Christmas decorations, and they all laugh. So of course, with the frost and with, you know, putting one heavy box on top of another, you're likely to get some breakages. And every year I do have 1 or 2 breakages. I know, expensive breakages, but hey, they are breakages nonetheless. So you have to keep topping up every year. And plus as well, I put up 5 Christmas trees. So, you know, sometimes I might go off a bauble, replace it with another one. So that's why. And then we have this beautiful purple one as well. Just stunning. Exquisite. My 2 recent purchases from Paddison and Ewell in Dublin. And I just love them. Where I'm going to put them, I'm running out of mantelpieces, I'm running out of fireplaces, and I've certainly run out of space on cupboards, etc. So I don't know where I'm going to put it, but that's the least of my worries. The biggest worry was getting it here, and it arrived. And this one also with the gingerbread house is stunning. And this one is called the Sweets Family Man. And he's got the most beautiful green felt jacket. Just stunning colour. Just the detailing even on that gingerbread house, because remember, these are all handmade. The detailing on that is just exquisite. Yes, and so my Amarillo display that I usually do, and I had a huge boo-boo this year. So I went to the florist to collect my Amarillas, which I'd ordered. And because Christmas fell all funny this year, well, that's my excuse anyway. It didn't really, but I just wasn't organised enough. I normally have them a bit earlier. However, they're in full bloom now and they're stunning. And they were actually for Christmas Day. But I forgot to order my red anthuriums or anthuriums, whatever way you pronounce them. I pronounce them anthuriums, but somebody told me they're not. They're anthuriums, something like that. Anyway, I normally order the dark red, the blood red, to go with the dark red Amarillas. And when I collected the Amarillas, I got to the boot of the car and I thought, where's the anthuriums? So I had to run back in. He didn't have any in red, but thankfully he had a few white ones. So he said to me, I've only got white. And I brought 2 white ones home, and Chris actually really loves the white in comparison to the red from the Amarillo. So it'll be white ones next year. I bet next year there won't be white ones. But anyway, that's the story. So that's my display with my beautiful pheasant. And so you guys, it's snowing outside. What a perfect day to make this beautiful, heartwarming vegetable soup with some lovely homemade cheese scones. I'm going to go through with you how to make the cheese scones, but I'm just going to briefly run through with you this lovely recipe for this vegetable soup that comes from Cyprus from my yaya Bobby. I call her my yaya. She's not really my yaya, but that's the name I gave her. She taught me how to make this soup, and it's really delicious. And actually, it's better if you make it today and you eat it tomorrow, or make it this morning and you eat it later. I always make enough to last for a couple of days because Chris really likes it as well. And like I said, it's just a quick go-to for something nice, warm and nourishing to eat. So it's a very simple soup. Keep everything nice and small, because what you want is every spoonful that you have, you want to be able to taste a little bit of everything on that spoon. So it's not like our traditional soups we would have here. This is a very Cypriot version of a vegetable soup. And I think Chris's mum used to call it, I don't know if it's correct in what everybody in Cyprus calls it, but it's gulagui soupa, which is courgette. Gulagui is for courgette. So on my chopping board, I have diced 1 medium-sized potato, 1 medium-sized onion, 1 quite big courgette, and I've done a few florets of broccoli, fresh broccoli. I have used the stem and all because the stem has got really delicious flavour. As long as you cut it nice and small, it will cook at the same time as the potatoes and everything else. I have also put a ½ cup of long grain rice. It's white long grain rice, but you can use brown long grain rice, whatever you like. And I've washed it really well in water to get rid of a lot of the starch from the rice. And here I've got a pint of chicken stock, which I'm going to add, but I'm also going to put another 3 pints of cold water. And then I'm going to put a little dash of tomato puree, so maybe like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of tomato puree, and a can of chopped tomatoes. Salt and pepper, and that's it. So all I've got is I've got my pan on the go with my olive oil inside, and I'm going to add into that my onions, and I'm going to saute them off just a little bit till they become a little bit translucent. And then I'm going to fire in all the rest of the ingredients. Water, stock, everything goes in here, and then the rice, and then the tomato paste, and the chopped tomatoes, and then you just let it simmer until everything is nice and tender. And that is our vegetable soup. So, now while that's cooking, I'm going to get on showing you how to make these delicious cheese scones. Okay, you guys, so the soup is simmering away. Everything is now in the saucepan. Chopped tomatoes, rice, tomato puree, stock, water, everything, vegetables. Simmering away. It can simmer away quite happily for 45 minutes to an hour. Switch it off, let it go cold, and then reheat it as and when you need it. You can also, I use chicken stock. You can also just use vegetable stock if you don't want to use chicken stock. What I normally do is I normally boil the chicken first, and then I take the chicken out. I know it sounds horrible, boiled chicken, that's what I thought at first, the Greeks eating boiled chicken. But actually, if you like a chicken sandwich, boiled chicken is delicious in a chicken sandwich the next day with some tomato and some salt and pepper. Just another little thing. Preheat your oven, 220 Celsius, gas mark 7. Chris will put the Fahrenheit for all my American friends over there in the United States. So, what we need to do now is, we need a baking tray with some parchment paper. We need 275 grams of self-raising flour, to which I have added a half a teaspoon of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of salt. In that goes into our sieve, and in we go. There's very few ingredients in this, that's why I'm not going to go through the list, because there's very little ingredients in here. Next thing I'm going to do is, I don't know if I remember I told you before, your grated cheese. I've got 85 grams of vintage Irish cheddar cheese, so good strong cheddar cheese, and I've also got 20 grams of Parmesan cheese, grated together. Once it's grated, into your flour and coat it in your flour. That way the cheese doesn't stick together in a clump and you get one scone with a big doughy cheesy bit in the middle and another scone with not so much. It's all evenly distributed. So just get your hands in there and just coat your cheese with the flour. You would do the same thing for if you were making fruit in a fruit cake or anything like that. Okay, and then I have got 85 grams of cold, very small cubed butter. That's going straight in, and I'm just going to literally rub this in with my fingertips until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. Now folks, these scones are not just delicious with a big wedge of Kerrygold butter. I often have them the next day as like a cheese ploughman. So I'll put some pickle on there, a big nice wedge of vintage cheddar, serve it with some pickled onions, some pickled gherkins, and you can make a really nice sort of salady lunch from these cheese scones as well. So they're very versatile. I've often made them with whole wheat flour for a browner, healthier version. But you know, this is as healthy as I'm going to be in the new year. It's snowing outside, for God's sake. We need to keep warm. We need a bit of fat. So just keep rubbing that in until it resembles fine breadcrumbs, and then we're going to make a well in the center and we're going to add our wet ingredients, which is 1 egg, 100 grams of plain Greek yogurt, 1 teaspoon of good strong mustard or mustard powder. I'm using Irish Lakeshore mustard because it's really nice and strong, and a couple of tablespoons of milk just to bring the whole recipe together. Not too much milk. You don't want your mixture too wet because they'll spread. You want it nice and firm. Okay, so after a few minutes of mixing, 3 or 4 minutes, you should get this, which is what you call resembling fine breadcrumbs. Okay, so that's that part done. Now we're going to get our wet ingredients ready. So we're going to add our teaspoon of mustard to our egg. And I'll add in my 2 tablespoons of milk. I can add more if necessary once I've put the wet ingredients in. Give that all a good stir. Straight in to your bowl. Leave a little bit of egg mixture in the bowl and you can add a little bit of milk, and we'll use that for brushing the top of the scones afterwards. In with our yogurt. And we're just going to bring that all together with our knife. That. Okay, and just bring that recipe all together with our knife until we get a nice soft but not sticky dough. Okay, so the mixture's all come together. I'm not going to flour my surface. I don't need to add any more flour to it. And I'm not going to use a rolling pin. I'm just going to use my hands and I'm just going to pat them out to a nice thickness. Now, I don't mind how many scones I get out of this, as long as I get at least 6. So, I want them to be nice and big. Remember, just press down and pull up. Do not twist your cutter because you'll seal the edges and you won't get an even rise. So straight down and up. Depending on how many you need to get, you can either double the recipe or you can cut them smaller or you can roll them thinner, etc., etc. Out of your cutter. Sometimes it helps to flour the cutter, but like I said, I don't want to add any more flour. So I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, roll your mixture back out again. Of course, if it does get a bit tacky and a bit sticky, you can use flour. I'm not saying not to use flour, I'm not going to use it here. Another one. And another one. And I think I'll get one. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 scones out of this recipe. And I suppose we'll do a little mini one for Scooter with what's left. So they're done, and I've even done a mini one for Scooter. So I've got 8 decent sized scones. If you want 12, you just make them slightly smaller, slightly thinner. Now all I'm going to do is just brush the last of this milk, egg and mustard over the top of the scones, not over the sides, please, just over the top. And it'll just help to give them a nice colour in the oven. And these go into the oven for no longer, folks, no longer than 15 minutes. You might think they're not cooked, but they are. 15 minutes exactly. And there we have it. Our cheese scones to go along with our delicious Greek gulugui soupa. I do love food from Cyprus and the Mediterranean. That's why I cook a lot. And I learned a lot of my recipes from Chris's mum. She was an amazing cook. God bless her. I was just leaving the bathroom. It's freezing cold. And we're going downstairs to have some lovely hot soup and a nice cheese scone. And I forgot to mention, this is my gift to Chris for Christmas. I hope you will love it as much as I do. It's really beautiful. And Chris will show you in more detail. It's got an absolutely stunning frame with the bleeding heart. Or the Sacred Heart. I don't know what you call it, but it's a heart. I think it's Sacred Heart. And it's of Mother Mary, Baby Jesus, and a couple of others. Beautiful. Okay, time for that delicious, hot, beautiful vegetable soup. Look at that, guys. Beautiful. Everything in one spoonful. Broccoli, potato, courgette, onion. I'm just going to add a little dash of pepper just to heat it up because I'm frozen. It's Baltic in this country at the moment. I don't know what's going on. Let's now break this. We don't even need to cut it. We can just break it. Look at that. Look at the steam rising from that beautiful scone. Beautiful cheese scone. And now we'll put some lashings of Kerrygold butter. And let that melt in. Even the butter's frozen. And it's not even in the fridge. Do we need to spread? To spread or not to spread? That is the question. Let's just eat it as it is. My God. Just the crunch Scooter's heard. On his hair. Are you coming up? If you come up, you can have some cheese scone. Come on. Come on. He won't make it up. Come on. Scoot. No, he's not. He's decided to sit down. So, my friends, enjoy this beautiful winter vegetable soup. With some delicious cheese scone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for coming along on our beautiful journey with Yaya Bobby. If you do make this soup, let me know how you get on. And whether you like it, you can add, you can subtract, but to keep it real, even include the rice. Trust me, it's very filling and very nice. Sorry, Chris, you have to stop because I can't stop eating.